burr. Yo, lurkers. What's up, Frank, Joseph, Team No Fish? Kyle. What's new, dudes? What? Is that correct? Hope not. Burns. Yeah, I'm about to go home. Here in a little bit, I'm gonna sand a few more baits. It's been a odd week. AJ, what's up? I've been Amy's out of town working, so I've been home alone with the girls. So had to they had the Bean had a party today, or not a party, but a parade, a Mardi Gras parade. So that was fun. Hope that isn't a crack. We'll see. Should break if it is, but it hasn't. Walleye fishing. I hear you. Fill the freezer. So I haven't got much accomplished this week. Craft daycare. Yeah, it's going. But like I said, it's a time suck, so I haven't, like yesterday and today, I had to drop them off and pick them up. So I had to drop them off at 9, and then the parade was at 12. So I can't get a lot done in 3 hours. Like I can, but not really. Like I need consecutive time in a row. But is what it takes for me to accomplish work. But this bait might be an indicator. Exactly, Jeremy. About the time I get set up and like get in a groove, it's like time to go, which is I don't like doing that. But Honey Boo Boo is at home in the pen. I took her the kennel. I took her home before the parade, and then went back, let her out, put her back, and then I'll go back and take her out and then go back home. So, and I got a dog to deal with. So, AJ, how do you do it, dude? I can't work in 3-hour increments at all. We got a dog. It found us. It wandered up in the yard, and we just kept it. But this bait might be an indicator of our guest next week. I've talked about it before, but I talked to this gentleman. I got confirmation today. He said he'll be fishing the open on Ouachita, on the Ouachita River. Let's see what he says. He said his signal should be good for next weekend, but he'll let me know tomorrow. Not Rick Klein, Clay. Let's see. We'll be at the Open on Ouachita. Not sure what the wireless service is there, but I'll check tomorrow when I get there and let you know for sure. So, he has a direct relation to a win on it. I guess it is. I thought it was on the river, Burns, but it's not. I thought I read river. Maybe I just wanted to read river. But it'll be interesting to hear about that too. I know Morgan Mason, he'll probably be interested. Burnsy will be interested. Morgan, get your questions ready. I know you'll probably have a bunch. K Pink. Kevin Short will be joining. And we will get to blast him with any of your Arkansas questions, cranking questions, whatever questions. Hopefully he can chat for a while. And hopefully he's a night owl. That's what I hope for all of the guests. K Pink is the shit. So I'm going to ask the man every square bill question known to man. I think he'd be into it. He seemed pretty stoked about it. So I was pretty pumped to get confirmation from him. I got this Brendan mystery guest. Do you throw big baits much? No, Brendan will ask K Pink if he's ever heard of a WEC E1 and if he's ever thrown one. Have you ever heard of a Bossa B3? What's up, John? Clay, that's what I'm saying. I gotta go catch up on some I gotta go catch up on his Pickwick win. That's probably my biggest, probably the biggest mystery win was his win at Aliceville in Mississippi, Alabama, Tin Tom Waterway, whatever you want to call it. This Tombigbee River. It's over there like Columbus, Mississippi, kind of on the border of Alabama. He won in the Aliceville pool, and he was throwing a B3 and a Norman big end. But that was like in the late 90s, early 2000s. I want to say it was late 90s. But what was interesting was that in the main thing that interested me in that win is that you didn't see it a ton, and you still don't. But I think he was throwing 3 crankbaits, and all 3 of them were custom painted. Throwing a Bagley, a big end, and there was another one that I really want to know what it was, and it was supposedly, I don't know if he was sponsored by Norman, but he might have been sponsored by Norman at the time, but it was a prototype flat-sided Norman, supposedly. Was it the Thin Man or the Thin End, whatever it was? Maybe he was throwing the thin end before it came out. I don't know when that bait came out. That's the only flat Norman that I can think of that would like be in prototype phase. So that was prime Bass in Durban. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong, Clay. What kind of style lake is it? Aliceville is a river run, like Corps of Engineers dammed up river. So you just got flooded backwaters and a river channel, and they pull current. So Bobby Balsa, what's up? So it's probably he was cranking trees, and there's grass there, but it's typically on that stretch of the river you don't get a lot of submerged grass. It's typically bank grass. Kevin has the lowest winning weight for a derby. That's pretty impressive. Clay, I love the like early 2000s, like Sitco era Rayburn and Toledo tournaments. Those are some of my favorites. Like to me, those run neck and neck with uh, Bob Cobb era. Um, so like I'm trying to think like Takahiro when he was like crushing everybody. Um, who else? There's a tournament with Stacey King and Jason Barber where it's like the pro am style. Um, Sitco era was good. The Sitco era was good. I think that was. I think the pros that were fishing at the time could probably tell us that that was like the highest amount of money was floating around the sport during then. Um, but we're gonna have to do a watch party one night for one of these camper streams, and I'm gonna do. We're gonna watch because probably I would say the majority of y'all I don't know would have seen this, so we're gonna all watch it. And I own it, and it's pretty hard to come by. But the signature's starting to wear off. But the film is called The Bass Man, A Journey in Professional Bass Fishing. So this was actually done by a guy. It was produced, I think, and directed. Um, yeah, it was directed by Michael Bayer. And this guy, guess where he lived? Um, he lives in Austin, Texas. Well, guess where I lived? So found this guy and bought the DVD from him. And I was like, "You have any more of these?" He's like, "Yeah, I got boxes of them." And I was like, "No shit." He's like, "Yeah." So I think I bought like two or three, and I almost thought about it, and I was like, I should buy all of his stock and then just like be the sole distributor of Bassman because I think I can sell them. Probably not now. Uh, Maybe 10 years ago, but now no, I don't think anybody would buy a DVD because I don't know that everybody has DVD players. But uh, he would be an actually probably an interesting guy to get on the stream to because he's not he has no relation to bass fishing, but he directed a bass fishing movie. Um, so uh, the that DVD is incredible. I don't. I was going to talk about something in it, but I don't want to. I don't want to blow it. Um, I was in a club in New Mexico when that came out, and we had a viewing at a Mexican restaurant. That's pretty badass, Clay. I must say. I don't know anybody that's ever seen it, honestly, besides you. Uh, I'd be interested to know how many copies they sold. Uh, so we'll see. Well, there's some really, really, really interesting stuff in there. You really need to watch it more than once because I've seen it 20 times and I pick up stuff every time I see it. Uh, like kid, he goes to Rick Clunn's house and Rick Clunn's like it was like angler tackle camp in a physical form where you like go to his house and he teaches you how to like meditate and like do all this shit and it'll be good. Um, it's weird. It's weird. But anyway, he's got boxes of shit like around his house. Anyway, I won't get to it. I won't get into it. We'll just watch it. We'll just watch it. I've actually got them all uploaded, Clay, uh, to my YouTube, but they're private. I think I forget. I sent them out to somebody, um, but I could probably rip the whole thing again and put it back on in its entirety. I don't know. I don't know what the. I don't know if can you do that? Can I just take that DVD and put it on YouTube, or will I get a slap on the wrist? We'll see. But they like I can't wait to get to the one part where he's in his boat and he's talking to who's he talking to? Danny Correa, one of those old open guys, Federation dudes. I think Danny Correa was there. And he's like, "What are you doing?" It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Um, but so we got K Pink next week. Kevin Short. Um, I ask him all the WEC questions. So some of you may not know. I'll give you a little rundown. So back in the glory days, there was pretty much the mothership for supply of WEC Zoom Ed Chambers crankbaits was from Simmons Sporting Goods in Bessemer, Alabama. That's where I got all mine. But there was another place that kept stock, not as heavy as Simmons, but it was Peeper's Baits, and from what I understand, that was Kevin Shorts was behind that, and he sold in limited volume uh, some WEC baits. He didn't have the I don't he didn't have the variety that the other place that Simmons did, but he did like if you needed an E1 or an E2 or an E3, he had like the meat and potato stuff. Um, so uh, it'll be cool. That's the reason we got to talking. I looked at our messages and I had first talked to him in 2018, and I asked him about this bait. Because I'd never seen one. And the model is when is this from? It's from 2011, and this is called a JZ. And he's like, man, I don't know what that is. He said it's a this style body with a different lip. Um, he said he used to put bills and lips and all kinds of different body shapes. But that was what got us talking. Yeah, it's pretty bait. The JZ. You can kind of see it on the lip. Yeah, there you can see it. Got a signed WEC. Did it come directly from Peepers? Or did you find him and say, sign this? Have you had your hands on a Buka's Trick Chad yet? Have not. Bring the skunk Bagleys. D's, I'm on kid duty. Amy's out of town. I don't have any skunks. Everybody on here has them. I would have to give my parents the car seats, which I can, for them to go pick up the kids, and they'd have to drop them off. So, like I said, I got to drop the kids off at 9, and then I got to pick them up at 1. So, yeah, here's a wobbler. Different profile. Let's see. Kevin told me what the profile was. Let's see what it was. It's a Z200 body, according to him. So there's a wobbler, and there's the JZ. So it's a lot of different. JZ's fatter in the tail, shorter. More square, more squared off. Wobbler is Mark McKegg's secret. I know a lot of guys that like the wobbler. I was never a huge wobbler fan. I bought this one for wobbling, but I didn't wobbler. Wobbler is a Charlie O clone. I'm assuming Charlie O. And Burns can do it better. Well, there you go. There you go. There's not much, Jeremy. There's not much in the. There's not much in the world of big crankbaits that are good, in my opinion. Like any of the Magnum square bills I've tried have all been trash. D says, Burns, we need the wobblers. Like I said, I don't know that I even threw that bait that much. I just stuck to the E's, the E series and the Burnsy stuff. What else? I'm trying to look. I've painted a bunch of wobblers though. The sand flea. This was the first sand flea I ever bought, and I threw it a substantial amount. So you can see it's got some. You can't really see, but yeah, you can see some. I mean, I've rashed up the epoxy pretty decent. Like, this bait has been thrown a lot. And I thought the sand flea was going to be the answer to all my problems in the fall. And I just never caught them good on it. I don't know what I don't know if it was time of year or what I was doing wrong. But I never had great success on a sand flea. Caught one on the spot remover Evo today. Gotta say the Evo is at least as good as the jackhammer. Can't complain there. Had high hopes for the sand flea. That's what I thought. I know a lot of guys like the sand flea, but I don't know. I missed. Maybe Kevin can shed some light on the sand flea when it excels. I see one big error in the sand flea as to why I probably didn't like it. See that split ring? My dumbass put an oval split ring on it. That probably didn't help it any. Well, now I know why my sand flea sucked. But I bought more. I had that one. That one. That one. That's my favorite color zoom ever. That was the one I threw. Most of my zoom stuff is that color. Ooh, that's nice. That's nice. Long-tail mutt. Hot chocolate. That'll catch one. I should put that one back in the box. The reason I put the oval split ring on was because Lucky Crafts had just come out and they had oval split rings, and Lucky Crafts were badass. So I thought, these are the shit. They need to be on everything. So I did that, and then I noticed that some of my Bagleys did not like an oval split ring. So I took the oval off, and I don't know why, like what's the physics behind it, why I didn't like it. But I've seen wood baits not prefer an oval split ring. So I just go round now. I don't get fancy. Just take the sand flea down some riprap and fish the split rings off it. And bound to get enough bites down the riprap to get some confidence. It's hard to find riprap down here. Says baits run better with oval split rings on square bills. That's bullshit. Who says that? I know with 100% certainty, Bagley Killer B2 square bill does not run good with an oval one. A Bagley does not, like a B2, B3 does not run better with one. Obviously, that bait probably does not. Yeah, that is not true. Plastic baits, maybe. I don't know. It is hard to find a good oval split ring. They don't. I think Lucky Craft used to sell theirs, maybe, but it was hard to find a good one. What does the action compare to on the flea? I honestly don't even remember. I'd have to go throw it. Don't get him started. Deez can tell you about the oval split rings. He bought me a bunch of shit and told me, "Can you fix these because they run like ass?" I said, "Yeah, it's easy to fix them. Take these stupid ass oval split rings off." But riprap is the crankbait test. If they don't bite it on riprap, that's your sign not to throw it. It's the litmus test around Arkansas. Yeah, it would probably be difficult for me to go find riprap. And if it's like, I'm trying to think, I can fish small stretches of riprap, like 100 yards long. But like going down like if you go to like a dam and there's like 1,000 yards of riprap, it's so hard for me to like go down those. You'd see that a lot in Texas where guys would just be going down these like gigantic, like mile long stretches of riprap and just fish down. Like if that's what it takes to catch a fish, then I'm probably not going to catch them. There's a certain crankbait out there that comes stock with ovals. I always switch them out. I don't know that I've ever seen it with plastic, but wood baits I have. There's no riprap on low tide. Very true. Very true. There's probably not much anyway, and even if you could find it, you would have a limited opportunity to. I'm trying to even think where riprap would be, because it would probably be good this time of year, but we don't have so much riprap. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I get a good feeling when there's like 1 mile, a good looking hydrilla, I just start punching. See, I can do that, Clay. You can put me on a mile stretch of 2 foot water with water hyacinth that is straight as an arrow, and I can go down that mile and punch hyacinths indefinitely. I'll never get tired of it. Like that's one of my favorite things to do, and I think it's just because it's like mindless and you don't really have to think and you can just zone out and like not think. Um, but it never gets old. Um, I I don't know if you can do that. I'm trying to think where you could do that. Probably Florida somewhere. I don't know. Does Texas, Clay? Does Texas have anywhere with hyacinth in it? Um, Fork has hyacinths. You never see anybody doing that, like in those in any oval split rings are the key to the method crank. I think I've tried every combination of everything to get my method cranks to work, and I still never succeeded. Snaps, split rings, no split ring. Cato, dude, I bet Cato would be fun to punch. Ooh, ooh, I need to make a trip over there. Uh, that'd be real good. Oh, I can say I went and tested Burns's uh, tester, his prototype of the baits he's finishing up, and I couldn't really tell the difference between that and a chatterbait. It, it, and it'll when you see the bait, you'll be like, hmm. The key to the method crank is to buy. Yeah, the key to the method crank is you don't try. Loop nuts, not a fan. Not a fan. I've never seen one I trusted. Double loop, maybe, but I got trust issues, and one of them is with loop knots. Don't like them. Clay, I think it's coming up. I think it's in the next year or two. It's not far, which is going to be embarrassing. Um, 26. There you go. You got 2 years. So you're in a few months. Caddo is fun to punch. They hit Cypress Lake, bang, spinnerbait, and square bills off cypress trees. I like that. I like that. Uh, no fish, no loop knots for me at all, even on walking baits. No, I never could get behind them. Um, I never could. I never saw where it made a damn difference. Like the split ring does enough to me. Like using to me a shitty or not. Uh, I always like I typically like my line doubled, whatever knot it is. Um, and for me to go to a loop knot, I never felt like I got any kind of benefit from having to go to a lesser knot. Um, I'm with you, Jeremy. No snaps, no speed clips. The Norman that I Uncle Frank said he uses those damn Norman speed clips. I would almost say that that stuff is worse than Sunline Supernatural Mono. Um, I don't, dude. The first time I ever used a speed clip, I was like, these things can't be real, right? I don't know. The VMC snaps. You know what my favorite ones were? Were always the Eagle Claw. They made a really their wire they used on their snaps was really strong. Um, I put a snap on an F4 crank from 6 cents and it won't run. Put the oval back on and it runs. That's so weird. I guess when that line, but you're not really. I mean, I guess you're kind of extending the line tie in a sense. I don't know. I don't know. Keeps letting his family going away, get in the way. Uh, double uni. It's good knot. There was some other baits. I don't know if I'm gonna reveal them, but one really surprised me. Y'all will get to see it. Uh, there for a while, I kept trying to. I was so anti snap. I tried to I tried to take my oval split rings and take the snaps out of all my chatterbaits and replace them with a big oval split ring, and I couldn't do it without mangling up the split rings. So I just had to live with the split rings. The only thing that I was okay with is that once you get a snap inside of a chatterbait blade, it's really hard to get out. So I had a little peace of mind. But yeah, there was a phase where I tried to phase out the split ring or the snap on the chatterbait. Hold on, am I missing something? Where'd you go, Clay? Where'd you go this past summer? I've been throwing a loop knot on the Demiki rig. I think it gets more bites that way. Sketches me out. I don't like getting sketched out, Morgan. I'm with you. Uh, I went to Caddo when I was in college. What did you learn, Clay? What did you learn about bass when you were studying paddlefish? Um, some baits you really need the extra movement. Like, give me an example of one that a split ring wouldn't be enough. That you would need even more movement. Unfortunately, Tim, it is. I just didn't like it. I was hoping I could buy some I sized out these oval split rings that were. I found this weird manufacturer of them, and they were like longer but not as fat. So they were just like they were almost the same length as a snap. But like I said, I could never get them in there. Um, Paddlefish, good eating, Travis. Travis, you're a topwater aficionado. Any loop knot for you? It was in March. I saw like a million paddlefish below a dam, and we were tagging big females that we could get into our net. I got a BS in natural resources management. There you go. Tim, you're a snap guy too? Dude, my old Mean Gene, my neighbor, he was a snap guy. He'd throw spinner baits and he'd throw everything on snap. I didn't, like I said, I was two types of people in the world: snap people and non-snap people. And I feel like in the world of snap people that if you are a snapper, that this might be a blanket statement, but I feel like you would probably be more inclined to break off, not due to the failure of the snap, but due to not retying enough because of the snap. Um, Tim, do you use that what's that one out of Japan that everybody chubs up over? The egg shaped one. Um, Burns, I did not. I didn't know that's what it was. That was the last one, and my hands were freezing, and I didn't put hooks on it. Um, Decoy, that's it. Decoy. I never ordered any of those, but I remember thinking when they came out, I was like, oh, if these are so badass, maybe I can replace my chatterbait snaps with these. I don't know if they'd fit. I was going to run them backwards. For the VMC must make a. I heard multiple people say they like the VMC. Been out split rings, boat flipping, snaps have no chance. I'm with you, Stearman. I'm with you. I used to use the decoy egg snap until I found a better option a few years ago. What do you use now, Tim? Did you say it previously? If you did, I'm sorry. Bobby Balsa. Clay, Burns, all like the VMC. Decoys come half bent. Perfect. Perfect. It's so funny hearing, like, seeing all the different preferences of stuff people have. Like the stuff that I would never touch is one guy's like go to. And you see it reading comments on the internet. BKK. Jeremy, that's funny you say that because I was reading something. Oh, it might have been it was like a video from I don't know when it was a post from it was a post from I think maybe Beast Coast, and whatever they're coming out with right now had a BKK hook in it, and they talked about it in the video. You know, it's got a BKK hook, and those guys in the comments are like, "BKK hook, I'm out. Never gonna buy that." It's like, what's wrong with BKK? Like they've been making hooks for people forever. Like they didn't just pop up out of nowhere. BKK's been making OEM hooks for bait companies forever, And I mean, it's not like they're new. They just started selling in retail. Um, but I was reading that and I was thinking, like, but those are the guys. I don't know why they feel compelled to tell you that they're not going to buy your jig because it's got a BKK hook. Like you're going to go call the manufacturer and be like, "Well, pull the fucking jig. We got to change the hook because this dick squeezer decided he doesn't like BKK hooks." Like, who cares, dude? Like, shut up, and keep it to yourself. Don't buy them. You know what I mean? Like the comment means anything. But it's a collab between a pro with the hook sponsor and a signature jig. Is that the open water? Um, I'll trash those 50,000 hooks I have left so I can switch it just for you. But those are the guys that need to make their own jigs, right? Like you can make your own open water sniper jig, I'm sure. I've never tried, but I'm sure there's some sort of mold that's out there that's pretty close. I mean, it doesn't have a weed guard in it, so I'm sure there's something out there that you could put whatever hook you prefer in it and do it, and not tell Beast Coast that their hook sucks. Like if it was like I'm trying to think what's like the shittiest hook ever. Like if it's like a Matsuo sickle hook, like one aught light wire, sure, say, okay, this hook is trash. What were you thinking? They deserve it. But I mean, I think they put a decent hook in it. Trocar, yeah, I've never been a fan of Trocar. I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't buy a jig or spinner bait or anything for that matter with a Trocar hook in it. Um, but if you choose to put one in your jig, I'm not going to get on your social media and tell you that I'm not going to buy it because it's got a Trocar. I'm just not going to buy it. Trocar is awful. I was never a fan. The points rolled on them. Put a BKK and a gimme beside each other. The the BKK is a hair smaller. Use a lot of Jason Christie Walmart hooks, Eagle Claw. You know what's funny, Clay, about hooks is that if I held up like an old Stanley wedge fiber shaft spinnerbait, people would look at it and be like, "Oh, that hook's trash." The hooks are actually they're not as sharp, but you can sharpen them. But if you can sharpen a hook, you can take that old ass like Eagle Claw that came on a spinnerbait, sharpen it up, and that thing is a good hook because it never bends. The barb on it is like that big, and it's got that like O'Shaughnessy bend on it. Like they hook the shit out of fish. I think the problem back then was guys were throwing them on like 4'8" pistol grips with Stren mono, and they couldn't get that dull point through a fish's mouth a lot of times, especially on a long cast. And uh, I think that's probably the issue you had. But like, I still throw a fair amount of old wire baits that have those old O'Shaughnessy kind of giant barbed hooks on them. And if you sharpen them up, like a fish doesn't typically get off of that thing. Hey, Darius, what'd you catch? What was happening on K Lake today? Hopefully, pictures are incoming to the gram. We're all on the edge of our seat. Darius, were you cranking? Darius was Ned rigging and Alabama rigging. Tim, I've been asking for that for years, and I don't know why. For the life of Gamakatsu, they have never come out with a short shank bronze, especially in a 3 and a 5. I would think that would be a great seller. But I think I have to buy 100,000. I think if you wanted to have that, maybe it might not. I forget how many it is. It's a lot. Had to go to Barkley. Ooh, ouch. Windy. They don't make them at all, Clay. Never have. Never have, to my knowledge. But it would make perfect sense because the bronze wire, like, I don't think there's a hook out there as far as your ability to sharpen it. Um, I don't think there's a hook out there that you can hone yourself and get as sharp as you can get a bronze gamakatsu. Um, but you can get those things to like stupid sharp. It's kind of like the chrome vanadium, the side buster blade material. Um, like that blade. Like, what is it? CV? Yeah. Like that thing you can get stupid sharp. Are the gammies? I don't know how they sharpen the gammies. Um, Brian, I forget what it was. It was like 50, 60 grand. Yeah, a tour of the Gamakatsu factory would be cool. I don't know that I've ever seen that. Does that exist on Google? I mean, on the tube? Probably too hot for TV. Probably. Well, I guess since everybody says there's like 10 streams to watch tonight, rather than sit here and sand baits, I need to go home and sand baits, and then I can just, when the kids go to sleep, I just watch all this stuff and sand baits. The Gamakatsus are true high carbon. You can get them crazy sharp, but they'll wear out quicker than a hook made from steel with less carbon. I feel like that's fine. But when you say wear out, what does that mean? I won't reveal the new bait. I'll reveal one that the one that surprised me the most. Where is it? This is what I had to take off. Where is it? There she is. This was out of this whole box of stuff. This was my favorite. I know. It's ugly. But this one is badass. It is badass. I'll get into it. We'll talk about it on a camper stream. I need to paint this one. Bass After Dark. What bait should be brought back? Surely somebody's going to say Bagley. I don't know. What's discontinued? I'm trying to think. What would I want? You can't. Can you? I'm looking around. I mean, I've got some y'all've heard in the Tackle Camp lives some of my discontinued soft plastics. Yeah, I guess there's some older hard baits. I mean, some older wire baits. Travis, yeah, Travis wants his Terminators back. I guess Tim, that's the dilemma with this knife, is that this knife gets sharp really easy and it gets sharp as shit, but it just doesn't last. You got to constantly touch it up. But that's what I like about it, because it doesn't take me forever to get it sharp. But I don't know anything about knife or cutlery or steel. I just know I like the CV. But anybody that watched that Tackle Camp with me on the weird soft plastics knows that there's a few discontinued ones out there that I'd like to have back. I'm looking around. I mean, there's certain stuff, but I don't think I'd want it back, because the stuff that got discontinued, I think, could be made better. Use a carborundum stone and it will make it sharp fast. I got this thing. I don't know what it is. Smith's Trihome. And it's got 3 different grits. It's pretty decent, I guess. But I typically don't sharpen it with that. I've got one of those little diamond pocket stones that I keep in my truck. That's what I typically sharpen it with. It's hard to describe, but the one I built like that backs up a little different. I didn't notice that. I just noticed Morgan water push, and what are you sending me, Brendan? Brendan, what a dick move, bro. Brendan's bringing back my juice. How's that work? Brendan, you are the mole. Is 200 grit sandpaper a good way to mat? 200 is too thick, too heavy, too coarse. Um, if you want to scuff up your bait and remove the gloss, I would use something much finer, uh, like this is like a red Scotch-Brite pad from 3M, and I just scuffed this epoxy, and it was glossy, and now it's not glossy. But are you going to pour them, Brendan? uh, Johnny, I'm also of the opinion that I guess if you did it coarse enough, when it hit water, it wouldn't gloss over. But if you want any effects at all, I think it's got to be coarse enough. Like you could dull it with like 1,000 grit sandpaper, 1,500 grit sandpaper, and it would dull the finish. But once it got into water, all those voids in the clear would fill with water, and it would look glossy again. But I'm guessing if you used like Burn said, like a 400 or something, but you're gonna like if you're going into a bait with 400, like I don't think you're gonna be able to knock enough of the clear coat down without cutting through to paint. So it depends on what the bait is. Like my paint, stock bait, like manufactured crankbait paint, I feel like you'll typically is all thin. You'd cut through it pretty quick. But with a 400, I don't know. So I need to paint this one. This one's going into the paint box. How deep do I think it'll run? I don't know. 5 foot, maybe. I would think. Morgan, I think there's something to that design, because if you break it down, the bait mechanically is wobbling. When you have this much mass in the back and it's like pushing, Like it's got a damn tennis racket on the back, or not a that's a bad example. Like a boat paddle on the back that's just like woof, woof, like it moves some water. Um, I think this thing will, like my prediction is this bait will catch a better quality fish. As dumb as it looks, I mean, I don't even know what you'd call that. It's like an aardvark or a reverse crawl. Looks kind of like an aardvark, but I think conceptually it makes sense. A platypus. It does kind of look like a platypus. It's a damn crawfish. Sorry, it's not an aardvark or a platypus. So cool. I mean, I guess it's kind of like a mud bug, but I feel like the mud bugs. Do I even have a mud bug? I feel like their bill angles were always like straight out. I just sent you a link that'll tell you everything you need to know about knife steel, which can be directly related to steel used in hook manufacturing. Thank you, Tim. What's up, Nate? You're just in time for me to leave and go home and see the babies. No, tonight is not the live. The live will be next Thursday. Kevin's going to get back to me and tell me if he's going to have service at the Ouachita Open. But he says he's going to check tomorrow night. So it'll be next week. Nasty Nate, we got a camper live next week, next Thursday, 7:30, with Kevin Short. Get all your stump grinding questions ready for K Pink. He said he'd be honored, actually, in his response. I'd be honored. So, really, thanks. See you, Clay. Tell him to have his base for show and tell. Yeah, I mean, I guess he'll have his boat and he'll have all his shit there. I don't know if he'll have all his like square bill collection, but he might this time of year. Girls going wild bassing. Is the Ouachita tournament next weekend? I think so, according to him. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully Kevin's not an 8:15 bedtime kind of guy. But if he's got to fish the next day, I guess we'll have to keep him to an hour. Which if he's on a time crunch and I've got like an hour, it's going to be like rapid fire. It's not going to be campfire chat for 3 hours. I'm guessing it's going to be so tell us about Aliceville. What was the prototype? Straight to the juice, yeah. All right, K Pink, we're on a crunch here. Give us the juice. Show us the WCs. Yeah, we're gonna have to I'm gonna have to make a list of questions, and we're just gonna have to cherry pick them. Say, here, just answer these. Answer these. We're gonna get them out of the way. So we're gonna talk Normans. We're gonna talk balsa. We'll talk old stuff. Ask him about black cranks. Certainly can do that. Kevin, what do you know about skunk? I wish I had one of mine because they're sexy as hell. Morgan, I think he's at the point now that I don't think he minds divulging stuff. So we'll see. I mean, I actually I know that for certain because his Bass U, and I'm going to tell him that his Bass U seminar that he did on the water was probably the most uh, juicy thing I've ever seen on the internet as far as cranking goes. When I watched it, the whole time I was saying, Kevin, shut up. Don't don't say anymore. Stop. And he just kept going. And I was going, la, 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 la. You're not doing this for free in a public forum. Like, please stop. Black baby in. Deep one or shallow one? Maybe we'll just play that game. The what do you know game. What do you know about a black baby in? What do you know about a Norman Big N? What do you know, Johnny? It wasn't recent. It's been years and years and years ago, and I don't remember if it. I don't know if it's up on their site or where I saw it. But he was up. He was on. It might have been a live. He might have been doing it live, and I don't know that it made it anywhere. Like I don't know if it got put out. I'm sure it did, but uh, I think he was on the Potomac or somewhere up there on the Chesapeake or something like in Peatland, and uh, I don't know that I've ever seen it since. But it was like I said, I would never do that. Like if Bass University was like, come tell us about custom crankbaits and cranking, what Kevin gave up, I would never say. Um, but like I said, so I feel like Kevin, after seeing that, he's pretty. If he's got better juice than that, he's sitting on some damn real juice. I mean, besides that, I mean, he laid it out, dude. I'm telling you, like stuff I would never say, but he did. He did. Like finding logs, setting up on them, like all that kind of stuff. Nah, I just let people get hung up in them. Um, what other old baits he uses and keeps? It's a good question. I'll have to write these down. Y'all send them to me if you got them. Y'all can send them to me on Instagram or Facebook or email or Patreon or wherever you care to send them to, and I'll make a list and we'll see what we can run down. I would say with 99.9% certainty that K Pink is not throwing braid for his crank plugs. I think Fritz. I mean, who else besides Fritz and Tim Maynard is throwing braid on cranks? You bet he doesn't have a Burns crank. I don't know. That'd be interesting. Hail to the king. Uh, interrogate him. Fritz. I mean, Mr. Pink. Can I call you Mr. Pink? Uh, walk out to your boat. Get your flashlight. Let's see the juice. All right. I'm out. Y'all be good. See y'all later.